Historic moment. Emma Raducanu and Katie Boulter make tennis history at the China Open. A nation holds its breath. When Emma Raducanu first burst onto the world stage in 2021 with her fairytale US Open triumph, she ignited a fresh wave of hope for British tennis. A teenage champion, fearless and elegant, she was hailed as the future. Katie Boulter, meanwhile, took a slower path, resilient, battling injuries, climbing steadily through the rankings with grit and grace. 4 years, British tennis fans dreamed of a moment when two of their own would rise together, not just as individuals but as a force reshaping the sports landscape. That dream materialized in dramatic fashion at the China Open, where Raducanu and Boulter not only reached historic milestones but also made history side by side, leaving their names etched in the annals of the sport. It was more than just a tournament. It was a statement. It was a turning point. It was history. The road to Beijing. Beijing in autumn has a magic all its own. The golden leaves, the crisp breeze, the buzz of international energy around the China Open, one of the most prestigious tournaments outside the Grand Slams. For Raducanu, the event was a chance to remind the world of her brilliance. After a challenging stretch marked by injuries, coaching changes, and media scrutiny, she entered the China Open determined not to prove the critics wrong but to prove herself right. For Boulter, it was an opportunity to cement her rise. Fresh from career-best performances and brimming with quiet confidence, she arrived not as a long shot but as a genuine contender. Together, they represented not just individual stories but the resurgence of British women's tennis. Emma's renaissance. From the very first round, Raducanu's game carried echoes of her 2021 New York magic. Her movement was sharp, her serve precise, her forehand struck with conviction. But more importantly, there was freedom in her play, a sense of joy that had sometimes been clouded by expectation. Crowds in Beijing embraced her instantly. They remembered the teenager who shocked the world and were eager to witness her rebirth. Match by match, Raducanu grew stronger, dismantling higher-ranked opponents with poise. Each victory felt like a chapter of redemption, a reclamation of her identity as a champion. Katie's breakthrough. Boulter's rise was different, less meteoric, more methodical. Known for her powerful ground strokes and fighting spirit, she entered the China Open with momentum on her side. But few expected the level of dominance she displayed. Her matches became showcases of controlled aggression. She outlasted seasoned players in baseline duels, her serve thundering across the court, her resilience unshakable. By the quarter-finals, whispers of a deep run turned into loud declarations. Katie Boulter had arrived. Parallel paths converge. By the time the semifinals unfolded, an astonishing reality took shape. Both Emma Raducanu and Katie Boulter were through. For the first time in China Open history, two British women stood among the final four. Commentators marveled, fans roared, and British tennis found itself in the spotlight of global attention. It was not merely about the victories, it was about the symbolism. A shared breakthrough, two narratives converging into one historic moment. The semifinals were grueling. Raducanu fought through 3 tense sets, displaying her signature mix of defensive brilliance and sudden aggression. Boulter, on the other hand, powered through with steely determination, her forehand striking like a hammer blow. When the dust settled, the unthinkable had happened. Both Raducanu and Boulter advanced to the China Open final. The all-British final. The stadium was electric on the day of the final. Chinese fans waved flags, British supporters sang chants, and tennis lovers worldwide tuned in for a clash that felt historic even before the first serve. Two friends, two compatriots, two women who had carried the hopes of their nation, now stood across the net from each other. The Raducanu smile, the Boulter glare, different energies, same hunger. The match itself was a spectacle. Raducanu's precision against Boulter's power, finesse against ferocity. Games swung back and forth, momentum shifting like waves in a storm. The rallies were breathtaking, filled with fearless hitting, impossible defense, and moments of sheer brilliance. Every point was more than a number on the scoreboard, it was history unfolding, a moment Britain would never forget. The champion crowned. In the end, there had to be one winner. After nearly 3 hours of drama, Raducanu edged past Boulter in a nail-biting final set. She collapsed to the court in tears, not only from exhaustion but from the sheer weight of what she had accomplished. Yet, as Boulter crossed the net and embraced her, the celebration was shared. Both had triumphed. Both had written history. The scoreboard declared a champion, but the night declared something bigger. British women's tennis had arrived on the global stage with two stars ready to shine together. The aftermath. The headlines told the story. Raducanu returns, Boulter breaks through, a golden era begins. Historic all-British final lights up China Open. From London to Beijing, the new faces of global tennis. Social media exploded. Videos of their hugs, their rallies, their emotional speeches spread like wildfire. Legends of the game weighed in. Billie Jean King tweeted, "This is what tennis is all about: history, friendship, rivalry, and courage. Congratulations Emma and Katie." Back home, the Lawn Tennis Association declared the moment a catalyst for the future. Young girls across the UK picked up rackets, inspired by what they had witnessed. Emma and Katie, two journeys, one destiny. What made the moment historic was not just the results but the journeys. Emma Raducanu, the prodigy who scaled the mountaintop too quickly, battled the storms of fame and expectation, and found her way back with grace and resilience. Katie Boulter, the fighter who endured injuries, setbacks, and long roads through the lower tiers, emerging stronger with every battle scar. Together, they symbolized two truths of sport: that greatness can come suddenly or slowly, but when it comes, it transforms everything. Beyond Beijing. The China Open was not an endpoint but a beginning. Both players left Beijing with new rankings, new confidence, and new targets. The Grand Slams loomed, the Olympics beckoned, and the rivalry-friendship dynamic promised to electrify the sport for years. In interviews, Raducanu spoke with humility, "This isn't just about me. It's about showing what's possible when you keep believing." Boulter added, "We're just getting started. The future is bright for us, and for British tennis. A legacy in the making. History is rarely made in isolation. It takes timing, courage, and context." The China Open 2025 became one of those rare crossroads where everything aligned. Raducanu and Boulter not only made history but changed its direction. For Britain, it was a moment to cherish, a reminder of the power of sport to unite and inspire. For the world, it was a celebration of women's tennis, of rivalry and friendship, of history in motion. As the lights dimmed in Beijing and the echoes of cheers faded, one truth remained: this was not just a tournament. It was a historic moment. And its ripple effects would be felt for decades. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like and share. Till next time.